known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today, June 42nd, 2021. It's Tuesday or Wednesday. Teddy Covers and the Prez. Ralph Michaels joining us right off the bat. Teddy, it's good to have Ralph back. We're talking a deep dive, an interesting discussion on the NHL game and a baseball game. Rob Vino, two baseball games, including the Houston Astros, and Carmine Bianco again at the end of the show to talk Euro 2020. Teddy, my friend, how are you on this glorious Friday afternoon?
So you've called it the 42nd, the Friday, the Tuesday, the Wednesday. You're messing me up right now. But
brother,
just to be specific, games we will be covering today.
They happen to be on
Reds
June 22nd.
And the Twins. We'll be talking about the Astros and the Orioles. We'll be talking about the Blue Jays and the Marlins. We'll be talking about Croatia and Scotland, the Czech Republic versus England, and, of course, NHL TNA trends and angles. Tonight, I'm going to break down Cubs and Indians in my big game breakdown. And, Prez, what are you going to talk about in the penalty box today?
Hockey, baby. Teddy, I figured I've gotten the date wrong according to you like 6 times in a row. So this time around, I just embraced it. I just basked in my in me being an idiot. Welcome everyone to the show. Gordon, I got your message yesterday. I gotta check on the video and before I discuss it. But we love you, Gordon, Frankie, Hayden, Joey, all you guys. Thanks for joining us. Teddy, what did you learn last night in the wonderful world of sports?
Yeah, let's start with a little what did bettors learn, because this is an interesting one to talk about right now. At the very beginning of the year, those of you who watch the show regularly, you know what I'm talking about. I talked about how much money bettors had lost backing Jacob deGrom over the last 5 years. The Mets, a 500 team, actually a game or two below 500 with him on the mound, over a multi-year sample size, lineup failures, bullpen meltdowns, for a guy whose average lay price is as high as it gets in MLB. And, of course, deGrom at the beginning of the season pitched 6 innings of shutout ball in his first start, and the Mets lost as $2 favorites. They lost again in his second start. He threw 8 innings of 1-run ball, 14 strikeouts, didn't matter, close to $3 favorite in that day, and he lost. Since then, the Mets are 8-1 in his last starts, in his last 9 starts, and the only loss was 1-0. 6 of the last 7 wins have come on the run line. The dude has some truly insane numbers. 27 hits, 10 walks, 117 strikeouts, 72 innings of work. You give up 27 hits and 72 innings of work, it's insane. Better than 10-1 strikeout to walk ratio. 117 strikeouts in 72 innings, insane numbers. Bob Gibson in 68 numbers. Pedro in 2000 numbers. So what do you do with this conundrum? Mets have consistently lost for deGrom. They're winning for deGrom this year, and right now he's the best pitcher in the game. Can it possibly be profitable to fade him? Again, deGrom yesterday with a gem and a half. The dude's given up 7 runs all year, only 4 of them earned. The Mets are 9-3 in his outing. What are we going to do with Jake deGrom moving forward? We're going to continue to fade him. You bet we are. Why? How much better is deGrom going to pitch than he's pitched? No better. He can't pitch any better. No human is going to pitch any better. The Mets are 9-3 in his outings. How much money have you made if you back deGrom in every start this year? You're up 1.25 units at the best available number. Okay. Every time he loses, it takes a chunk out of your bankroll, and deGrom will lose. Okay. Like any hurler, he will lose. I understand. It's been ugly. 8 of the last 9 times I faded him, and I'm not fading him big. 8 of the last 9 times I faded him, I've lost. I am not. I'm trusting the process with Jake deGrom right now. As good as he is, he's an overvalued commodity. Once again, in the betting marketplace. What did you learn last night, Prez?
Teddy, great stuff on Jacob deGrom. Real quick, Cook Finn, best pitcher of all time. Cook, breathe, relax, calm down. Walter Johnson called. He wants his title back. Anyway, Teddy, I learned that the Houston Astros, when hitting the ball, are a bet on team day after day after day. And like Steve Merrill mentioned, I went and looked at a lot of their wins, and it's like you're just better off taking them -1.5. You get so much value there. When this team wins, they win big. And I had them last night for my clients. I'm finally rolling in baseball, Teddy, and it feels good after that last week where you had to talk me off of a ledge. Although you were excellent last night. I am not going to be calling you on FaceTime any longer until summer ends. I can't take the view. You are naked every single time I call you on FaceTime. Every time. 100 out of, and I'm like, we're done. We are not FaceTiming until the fall.
Not naked, Prez, but when it's 110 out and I'm sitting outside, I sometimes take my shirt off. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a sight for someone else's eyes. Let's bring Ralph Michaels in. And Ralph, it's $2 Tuesdays. You, my friend, are the $2 Tuesday handicapper. Welcome to Wager Talk Today, and tell us what you have on tap for our clients.
Well, I have 3 plays today in baseball. My top play, obviously, is the $2 play. I had some people reach out to me and say, hey, how come we never get to buy you for $2? November was the last time I was the $2 capper. Take advantage. And I'm going to tell you guys a secret today. If you go and buy the $2 play today at WagerTalk, when you buy the play, you will get a coupon to save 33% off any other capper you want. So if you're going to want to buy a capper today, buy the $2 first, get the coupon, and save money both ways.
Nice. Great promotion, Ralph. And Ralph, you've been rolling in baseball.
Yeah, it's an up and down period, and you get on those runs, and it's been a good run now, and the top plays have been doing very well. NHL as well. I'm very selective in the NHL, but had a big play on Tampa Bay. Obviously now 14-0 off a loss in playoff games. So while I'm very conservative in the summer months, the success has been there. So very happy for my clients that I could produce a winning couple weeks and a good month coming up.
Yeah, I mean, we all know what's going on with me and how just disappointed and I am with my hockey playoffs. I mean, it's up 80 units on the regular season. And I was talking to Teddy about this last night. I've had a playoff run. I don't actually remember ever being this bad. And last night I had the under and I got it half right because we got one of those teams did go under. Yes. Well, let's talk hockey tonight. Big line for Vegas tonight. And an interesting line. You're going to delve into what do we do when these teams are -200 or more. So I hand the mic to you.
Well, obviously, if you're betting NHL, you have 3 options when you're betting the game. Do you want to bet a big favorite? So I looked at NHL playoff favorites of 200 or more. Do you want to lay the goal and a half and get plus $1.10 or plus $1.20? Or do you want to play the 60-minute regulation line? It looks so easy. The Vegas Golden Knights tonight -132 on the 60-minute line. So why lay 245 for the game if you're going to lay 132 in the first 60 minutes? Well, we have those questions. Numbers often look easy, but I'll tell you what, sportsbook have the same numbers that we do, and we could all study the same information. So I wanted to break it down and describe which is the best. The Vegas Golden Knights tonight are -245. So I went, since 2016, there have been 163 playoff games with a line of 200 or more. Obviously, if you're laying 140, 150, you're going to play the money line anyway. So I just looked at the high priced. So if you go back and look since 2006, if you played every favorite of 200 or more, you are 106 and 57, winning 65%. Well, with an average line of 232, folks, 65% doesn't cut it. You are actually minus 26.4 units. If you lay the goal and a half, of those 106 wins from those big favorites, 36% or 38 of them have been one-win goals. So those one-win goals in the playoffs, very common. Your record laying 1.5 goals, 68 and 95, only 41.7%. Guess what? You're down 26 units again. But the worst number, Prez, in the 60-minute line in regulation, of the 163 playoff games with a line of minus 200 or more, 27.6% or 45 of the 163 went into overtime, and you're minus 33.9 units. So we have a 15-year sample size, 163 games. The money line and laying the 1.5 goal is the best. I say best in parentheses because all three are losers. But the worst bet in an NFL playoff game with a big favorite is actually the 60-minute line or the regulation line in the playoffs. So sometimes those numbers look easy. They're not always that way. But again, there's situations you're going to look for. But every situation for a big favorite in the NHL playoffs, if you blindly play him, you're down in all three. Last note in the NHL playoffs, when a team is a big favorite of minus 200 or more, you are 58.5% to the under, blindly playing them. So that's the one thing you could take out of this chart is when you have a big favorite in the playoffs, you're 59% to the under.
Well, the other thing that I would think you might be able to take out of the chart, Ralph, is that the favorites in the $2 favorites in the postseason aren't good bets. You know, if it's not profitable to lay it, if it's not profitable to lay it in regulation, and if it's not profitable to lay 1.5, that means there's got to be something for the underdogs in these games, yes?
Well, Teddy, there's actually not, because when you have a 200, 230 favorite, you're only getting 180 back. You're minus about the same as well. So because the juice is so high in those big favorites, the only one making money if you blindly play the games is the bookmaker. But again, you're picking out situations where you pick and choose. But with the big juice on the big line, taking the dog is not profitable as well. Both the favorite and the dog in these big line games have been a negative over the last 16 years.
Ralph, that is just incredible stuff. I mean, really, the takeaway there is bet the under. There's nothing to bet sidewise in that situation. Would be interesting to go even deeper into that stuff. And, you know, minus 200s, how do they relate to a first period bet? You know, last night, Dave Koken had a sensational bet. Tampa Bay minus half a goal, plus 150 in the first period. That cashed easily. And that would also be a very interesting statistic. But, man, you do not disappoint. Come on the show with just absolute gold. Let's get to the Cincinnati-Minnesota baseball game, 1:10 Eastern time. How are we betting this one?
Well, you know, I'm looking at the Reds. You may look at it from the outside and say, boy, the Reds are on a 5-game losing streak. The Twins are on a 5-game winning streak. Why do I want to take the dog in this situation? Well, we talk about strength of schedule very often in the NFL and in college football, but in baseball, take a look at the Reds. That 5-game losing streak, the first 4 losses at San Diego, the team playing better than anyone. Let's look at Minnesota, the 5-game win streak. 3 of those games at Texas, the team playing as worst as anyone. So the strength of schedule disparity is huge in this game. Miley, 5 straight starts allowing 2 runs or less, only 6 runs allowed his last 5 starts. Bailey Ober making only his 5th start. He averages only 4 1/3 inning. Twins 2-9 at home versus lefties. I'm going to grab Cincinnati as a small dog. First 5 play. Those watching live have an opportunity to play it. It does first pitch, 1:10 Eastern, 10:10 a.m. Pacific. Cincinnati, game 967.
Are you worried at all about the negative momentum for the Reds off of last night's game, where it looked like they were going to win it? They had a blown save and they lose it in the 12th inning in walk-off fashion. That was a pretty tough loss if you were watching for Cincy. Are you worried about any hangover effect for a team that, you talked about the strength of schedule they faced, but nonetheless, even with the competition they faced, this is a team that's been smacked around and it's taken some really tough losses the last couple of days.
Yeah, they have, but they're still hitting the ball, and I like the way they're hitting on the road. You're averaging you have 29 hits your last 3 games, and with Miley giving him that stopper, Miley with a 1.08 WHIP on the season and a 1.03 WHIP on the road. You have that veteran on there, and I am. This year more than most, we have a lot of righty and lefty disparate results. And the Twins versus the lefties, I'm happy to fade them in that role.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Ralph, $2 Tuesday handicapper over at WagerTalk. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Grab his baseball bet. It's only $2. It comes with a great promotion inside. So make sure to take advantage of that. And Ralph, did you want to talk about the San Francisco game?
Well, quickly, we can. I'm going to be on another dog tonight, San Francisco plus 113. I make this line San Francisco minus 135. I think the wrong team's favorite. San Francisco is number 1 in the MLB with rest. They're 9-2 with 7 straight wins on a day off. They're also the number 1 team in Major League Baseball as an away dog. They're 9-2 the last 12. They're 14-8 on the season, plus 11.2 units. Angels, again, another strength of schedule situation. Angels 9-4 the last 13. That sounds impressive, but they're 9-1 against Detroit, Arizona, and Kansas City. And they went 0-3 against the A's. DeSclafani, 0.91 WHIP in 14 starts. Haney, a 5.05 ERA at home. Giants with 12-plus hits, 5 of the last 7 games. And guys, both Cincinnati and San Francisco are actual client plays today to go along with my $2 Tuesday play, again, which is available at WagerTalk.com.
Nice stuff. Ralph Michaels, you do not disappoint. Thank you for taking time out of your day for joining us. Anything quick you want to talk about with all the great writing that's going on over at the Gold Sheet?
Nope. Check out the NFL guide. You will remiss if you do not download it. Working on the next few weeks, the college football guide that'll come off after the 4th of July.
Teddy gave you a double thumbs up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The NFL guide is a must download. Okay. I spent all summer working on the NFL and I still learned stuff from Ralph Michaels' guide. Download it today. It's free. It's freaking free.
Yeah. You know what else is free? The like button, everybody. 240 of you watching, 200 of you have not hit that like button. Please take 2 minutes and hit it. If Teddy and I don't deserve it, Ralph Michaels sure does. Ralph, thanks for joining us. We're going to have you back as a regular very soon. And we'll see you in a week or 2, my friend. Guys, stay with us. Teddy?
And good luck, Ralph, with your $2 Tuesday play tonight.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Guys, we'll be right back. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Rob Vino, Carmine Bianco, Penalty Box segment. This show has just begun.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than one day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day Power Pass. Every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just one day. Your WagerTalk one-day Power Pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk about the Cubs and the Indians, the exact same matchup we broke down yesterday. But today, we're going to come up with a slightly different conclusion. Right now, we got the Chicago Cubs. They're $2 favorites with Kyle Hendricks on the hill against Eli Morgan. Total 8.5 to the over. There are a couple of nines out there this morning here in Las Vegas. The prevailing line, 8.5 to the over. Now, we talked yesterday about the fact that the Chicago Cubs right now can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag. And what happened yesterday? They got shut out again. 3 runs or less now in 9 straight games, 2 runs or less in 8 of those games. I understand that Morgan's had a rough start his MLB career. I don't know that he's going to be a big league pitcher, but I know the Cubs can't hit right now. On the other side of the equation, Hendricks, number one, the Cubs are winning for Hendricks. Start in, start out. I think the last 7 starts they've won. Number 2, he's throwing gems. Start in, start out, even against much better lineups. The one he's facing now in Cleveland, not a team that hits the ball particularly well. So weather at Wrigley today is supposed to be relatively cool. There's no wind conditions to worry about. The wind's not blowing out or anything like that. But I've got one team that can't hit and can pitch. I've got the other team that doesn't hit well, and I do have a little bit of concerns about their pitching tonight, but not enough to keep me off this under. Yesterday, given this circumstance, the play was the dog. Today, given this circumstance, the play is the under at Wrigley, and I apologize for no NBA breakdown on today's show. I've got no action on tonight's game. I'll break it down on all the NBA. Of course, you should be watching an NBA tip-off show each and every weekday at noon Pacific time, 3 o'clock on the East Coast. We'll break that down. We'll break the game down later on today, so you can check out my analysis if you want to hear why I'm passing on the Suns-Clippers game 2 tonight. There's your big game breakdown, Prez. Back to you, my friend.
Yeah, Teddy, it's it's tough this basketball game tonight. I've been rolling in the NBA playoffs, 4-0 run, and I look at this and I can really make an argument for both sides here. I mean, I think the play is Phoenix. I just can't seem to bring myself to pull the trigger. I'm kind of hoping that Phoenix wins going away, and maybe we can get a nice bet on game 3. But, I do lean to Phoenix. I just can't seem to make the play yet. I still might, sure, though. I got research still to do after the show, so I'll have all my plays up around 2-3 o'clock this afternoon, but I am leaning towards Phoenix.
Sure. I mean, I want to know if Marcus Morris is going to play before I would make a bet on this game, and he's a game time decision. And Marcus Morris is one of these guys who absolutely is going to affect the play on the floor far more than he's going to affect the point spread. Not an impact player when it comes to moving the needle on a spread. What's he worth? Half a point to the line, maybe. On the floor, he's worth a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
And his status crucial for LA tonight. If he doesn't play, it makes Phoenix, to me, a much better bet than if he does.
Yeah, Teddy, and total-wise, the Suns are an under team, outstanding defense, and obviously the Clippers are too, but their number one defensive star and offensive star is out. We saw Clippers really lean towards shooting a lot, if you will, against in their last series against Utah. I am baffled at which way to go on the total in this game.
You don't have to be bad. When you're baffled on a game, you say I pass.
Yeah.
There's no harm, there's no foul. One of the things that I wanted to talk about in what did bettors learn, that I didn't really get a chance to get into. But the concept is bettors, you're going to be wrong on your concept. Okay, it happens all the time. That you think this team's good and they're not good. My nephew, who watches the show every day or most days, was giving me like, the 76ers lost. You said the 76ers are going to come out of the East. It was just giving me grief. Like people do. Or he said, I thought you said Philly. You didn't say ha-ha, but I read it as ha-ha. But the point was, we're going to be wrong about stuff all the time. All right? It's inevitable. We're not politicians. We're allowed to be wrong and change opinions along the way. And that's you can't take a wrong opinion and keep beating it into the ground because it'll cost your bankroll.
Yeah, and especially with social media the way it is right now. I mean, could you imagine if somebody like William Shakespeare was around today, on book 47? It just didn't turn out that great in social media. Shakespeare's a bum. He's an idiot. He can't write. Or John Lennon and Paul McCartney actually put out one bad song. Get rid of the Beatles. Cancel the Beatles. Yeah. I don't know where I went there, but I'm back, Teddy. And I got it.
I don't even remember what we're talking about. How does this relate to sports? How do we get into this segue? This is brutal. Rob Vino's having a few technical difficulties. We'll get to him as quickly as we can. But in the meantime,
it's okay. We're waiting. We're waiting for Rob. Teddy, it's $2 Tuesday over at Sports Memo as well. 1 second, brother. Joseph D'Amico is the $2 Tuesday handicapper over there, and you guys got to check out Sports Memo, man. This site, we have redone this site from scratch in the last 6 months. There is an unbelievable team of handicappers over there. It is a marketplace type concept. So whereas WagerTalk, all the pricing is set. None of the handicappers can waver from it. At Sports Memo, they get to decide what they want to do on their own. Same with the unit structure. At WagerTalk, the unit structure is set 3, 2, 3, 4, 5. At Sports Memo, they have more carte blanche to do what they want. But Joseph D'Amico, the $2 handicapper at Sports Memo, check him out. And also, Joe is one cool freaking dude. If you've ever seen him on John Ryan's Manny's Pub, I mean, this guy is tatted up, blinged up. He still thinks he has muscles with the muscle shirt going. He's got the flat brim hat, which only people under the age of 25 are allowed to wear. This is a dude. Just wanted to get that out there.
Sure. What I wanted to talk about, and look, in terms of the $2 Tuesday handicappers, it's $2. Get on board. But what I want to talk about was that Clippers Suns total, which you threw to me on, and then somehow I got lost in God knows what kind of analysis I was trying to do. But you talked about, in my mind, these are two really difficult teams to play totals with right now. Both of them are.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The Clips are an elite defensive team, but they're playing small ball. All right. So they're comfortable going fast.
Yeah.
The Suns are an elite defensive team. Really, I mean, in the half court, they're really good, but they want to play fast too. So when you have two teams where you love their half court defense and you're not going to get a whole lot in transition, but you're getting a lot of shots relatively early in the shot clock, it's hard. It's a hard total for me and not one that I'm even close to. From a side standpoint, look, I'm with you on Phoenix. The problem is the Suns have won and covered, not the problem, but the Suns have, since losing game 3 to the Lakers, fall down 2-1 in that series, the Suns have covered every game, every single one of them. That's 8 straight point spread covers. And it's not like they're not capable of covering another one, but these are the type of streaks that if you're riding them, you ride, but you don't want to jump in 8-9 for the 9th game in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where these teams are just covered 8 in a row. They just shot 55% from the floor and only won by 6. That's, to me, not the optimal time.
I don't know. We're back. I agree. But conversely, Teddy, and we've seen this play out a lot in sports. You lose your star, the Clippers, Kawhi, they played sensational afterwards. And kudos to the coach because they changed their style of play. They were really shooting quickly, and they did great. But the problem is ultimately when you lose your star, at some point you're going to hit a wall, and that's going to be hard to climb over. And I feel like maybe that's where the Clippers are at because we cannot expect the Clippers to go on and win the championship without Kawhi. I feel, are they going to get a game or two in this series? Likely, but I think it's going to likely come at home.
But let me jump in there. We don't know. I mean, again, we have no updates on Kawhi's stats.
I know.
Not going tonight, but he could easily play game 3 and be he was the most impactful player in the playoffs before he got hurt. He could easily do that again upon returning to the floor. He could also return to the floor and be effective. The other thing with the Clips, they're a team you want them down 0-2 in a series. Otherwise, maybe you leave them alone.
Yeah, well, I mean, one thing we know, they are more than capable of playing down 0-2. Carmine Bianco joining us wearing his colors. Viva Lazzurri. I did not say that at all. What was that?
Azzurri. It's Azzurri, but yes,
Azzurri.
You're close.
Baggio Rossi. Couldn't name one guy now.
You are hopped up on Nespresso today, my friend.
And you know what? Niall, one of our chat room listeners, actually asked, am I on Nespresso? Niall, I'm not on Nespresso. I'm in Nespresso right now. I've been Nespressoing it for the last 3 hours. Car, my brother, let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into it, dude. What an interesting day today. I mean, we have two teams that haven't won a game and yet can make it in. And then we have the England Czech game. This is an important game for seeding. Let's start with Croatia versus Scotland. Croatia plus 120, draw 280, Scotland at plus 200. Well, I off the bat, I'm looking at the draw. I'm curious on your take.
The draw is pointless in this game for these two teams. First off, I want to say, hey, listen, if you followed along on yesterday's show, we went 2-0 with the picks. Let's see if we can go another 2-0 with these plays here. And more importantly, Denmark won. And a lot of people followed my video and took futures at 85-1. So they're into the knockout stages, and they've got a nice little futures bet to go with it. As far as this one goes, in reviewing the analytical numbers, the post-game analytical numbers for both teams, both Croatia and Scotland, there's going to be goals in this game. I'm pretty sure, and that's where the market seems to be going now. It's gone from about 120 on the under 2.5 to over 2.5. I think a way around that and a way to avoid the juice is we're going to see goals by both sides here. A draw does nothing in this game. It could ultimately end up there, but it does nothing. Yeah. They need 3 points to get on 4 points. 4 points will get them into the next into the knockout stages. I think we see some goals here, and there's a bet that you can take at all books, which is total goals and BTTS. BTTS standing for both teams to score. You can take the over 2.5 and yes, meaning both teams score. The total goes over 2.5, and that is 105 plus 105. So you can basically get rid of that vig, take this option, and this game is likely to be one of those 2-1 type games more so than it will be 3-0 type games. So over 2.5 and yes to BTTS, and you get plus 105 on your money.
Let's talk about the Czech Republic and England. And I'll tell you what, the markets are saying the Czech Republic's not likely to win this match, being that they're $7 underdogs. The draw plus 260. England minus 188 and going up. This one's at Wembley again for England, and these two are tied at the top of the group, 4 points each. Where are we going to go with this game? England versus the Czech Republic.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. The Czech Republic, while they're tied with England, they are in top spot based on goal differential, and they're one of those teams that a win and a draw, and they underperformed or they overperformed their analytical numbers in the 2-0 win against Scotland. Their expected goals on the two goals were minuscule at best. There were two absolutely beautiful strikes from Patrick Schick. They won a game that they shouldn't have won, but they won it at the end of the day. This is why they're an underdog. Listen, the last time they came to Wembley, which was in the Euro qualifying, the Three Lions hung a 5-0 scoreline on them. It's not going to be 5-0 today, but you look at England, they're the far superior team. And while they're 1-0-1, a win and a draw, a lot of their fan base are worried about this team. But this is a team, like a lot of very good teams, who build throughout a tournament. There's no sense in winning early if you're going to falter late. They're going to get better. They're getting players back into the lineup who were injured. I think Gareth Southgate makes some changes. Harry Maguire back on defense for this team. This is one of those games where they're going to win, but much like the Belgium game yesterday, where I told you don't lay that vig, just take Belgium win to 0. And yesterday that was plus money. You can take England to win the game, not allow a goal. England win to 0 is plus 137. So if they win the game 1-0, you cash the bet, while other people may lose on the goal line. It's the best proposition to go here. Teddy, if there's one caveat to this game, it's this. And it always gets out there. The sort of the conspiracy theory thing. If England wins this game, they win Group D, and they will face the second place finisher of Group F at Wembley Stadium. But that is one of France, Germany, or Portugal. That won't be determined until tomorrow's games go final. If England loses this game or draws and finishes in second, they will go to Copenhagen as the second place team and face either the second place team from Group E, which will be either Spain or Sweden. So a lot of people are like, well, we don't want to face one of those teams from the group of death, Germany, France, or Portugal. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think England gets the win today. Let's put the conspiracy stuff aside and just look for England to win to 0 today.
Carmine Bianco, everybody. Carmine, I got to ask you a question. A lot of us are new to soccer betting. And, you know, one of the things I noticed yesterday, and we just ran out of time and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it, was there were 2 games yesterday that were a plus 1,000 to the winning team, to the dog. But the favorite, one of them was 450 and the other was like 325. The number, there was such a huge discrepancy. So why is there that big discrepancy? And also, man, what's up with the lines being so far apart?
Well, because these aren't your standard two-way betting lines. You have to factor in the draw. So the draw comes into it. So in a game where a team is, let's say like Netherlands are minus 450, they are about a 60 to 70 to 75% favorite to win the game, analytical wise. And then you have the underdog, who is probably about a 5% chance of winning, and the draw another 15 to 20%. That makes up your 100%. It would be similar to an NBA game where you say you can take team A to win by more than 5 points, team B to win by more than 5 points, or the game to land within 5 points either way. That is a 3-way line. You don't see that. So you have to take that into consideration. Once the knockout stages start, which start on Saturday, there will be offers where you can just bet on a team to advance into the next round. You remove the draw aspect of it, or if it is tied after 90 minutes and goes to extra time and penalty kicks, that is factored into the line. So sports books will grade the bet on 90 minutes plus any injury time, which is usually anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes of injury time. It is a tough sport to handicap, but I'll tell you something. If you followed those 2 picks yesterday on WagerTalk Today and you won, you can buy the same food at a restaurant that you bought with your winning baseball plays yesterday.
So I want to ask you this, Carm. More ties than big dogs when it comes to this particular tournament or these types of tournaments? When you say like the big dog could be plus 1,000 and the tie is only plus 200 or plus 250, statistically, there are far more ties in these matches than there are underdogs winning. Yes or no?
Yeah, you're likely to see more draws, and you're seeing it only because and we saw it like on match day 1, match day 2. The underdogs are like a team like I'll use yesterday's game, Finland and Belgium as a perfect example. Finland went into the game needing only a draw to get into the next stages. So they played a huge defensive game where they had 5 guys on the back line, 3 midfielders. So Belgium needed to get through 8 guys in that final 15 yards, 15-yard box. It just became such a difficult game because they're not looking to win. They're looking to. It's a terrible way of looking at a sport. But some teams know who are in the underdog role that a point is good enough for them. So there is no desire to move to attack and have a team counterattack and catch you sort of stretched out and not set up on defense. We saw it in the early, we saw it in the Sweden-Spain game where Sweden just sat back and absorbed as much pressure as possible. Sometimes they're terrible games, but on match day 3, you normally don't see that with teams that need to win. The Scotland-Croatia game is an example of that. These teams cannot sit back and look to get a point. It does nothing for them. They're heading home if this game ends in a draw. So it's likely going to be a much more open game. Does that equate to goals? It doesn't always, but I tend to believe we'll see some goals in that game today.
Carmine Bianco, thanks for joining us, man. And we'll see you tomorrow to discuss those games too. What do you have to promote for today real quick?
Yeah, 3 plays up today over these 2 games. You can get them over at WagerTalk.com. Obviously, they're different than what I discussed here. You can get, if you use the coupon code KO60, you can get the rest of my tournament plays right through to the final. And I'm including all the Copa America games, which is a competition going on with all the South American countries in Brazil that's being played. And I have a 5% play up in action tomorrow in the Euros. So get all the plays right through to the finals for $139 when you apply that $60 coupon or pay $35 for one play. I think the better deal is get the package.
Carmine Bianco, everybody. And guys, real quick, just want to make mention, Rob Vino will not be joining us today. We had a little bit of technical issues, but most importantly, Teddy, he did send in his plays. And I'm going to tell everybody what Rob Vino was going to talk about. Well, Rob likes the Astros -1.5 against the Baltimore Orioles what am I wrong? It says Houston -1.5.
No, you're right. I thought it was.
Okay,
I thought
you were giving me one of these.
It wasn't a full.
I
thought it was a first half play, but no, you are 100% correct. Rob Vino like the Astros on the run line -1.25 at the Orioles. And
the Blue Jays and Marlins first 5 innings under 4, which Teddy, really, I wanted to talk to him about that. I mean, it's hard to take under 4 in 5 innings with the bats on that Blue Jay team, but Rob obviously has a great angle for that. We will not be able to hear about it. You wanted to say something?
The bats in that Blue Jay team are facing a pretty good hurler in Alcantara today. So
that they are.
So hence the total being where it is at 4.
I get it. I ain't betting it, but I get it. Boys, it's time. Joe, plop me in that penalty box, please. Oh, thank you everyone for watching Wager Talk today. You can find us 12 to 1 Eastern on our YouTube channel, Wager Talk TV. We're also only 150 subscribers away from 72,000 subscribers. So help us out. Join us. Subscribe to our channel. We appreciate it greatly. Shout out to Ralph Michaels. He came on Wager Talk today. Gave out some incredible hockey information. Carmine Bianco as well with some soccer bets. Teddy, as for me and the penalty box segment, well, I'm losing most of my client hockey plays. I admit it. I wear it. I own it, and it upsets me greatly. But what I'm not doing is losing the plays in the penalty box segment. Yesterday, I told you guys to take Tampa Bay first period. Easy winner. Told you to take Tampa Bay in the game. Easy winner. Well, today I will do the same. Take Vegas first period and take Vegas -1.5 or regulation. I cannot play the juice on this game, but I do think we're going to see a breakout type of game for the Vegas Golden Knights. So grab that. And as far as baseball goes, Teddy, I was this close to releasing the Cleveland Indians to my clients. And then instead I decided to bring it to the penalty box. So you were talking about the Cubs and their lack of scoring in your big game breakdown. I like the Indians tonight. They're a big, juicy, delicious Bernese Mountain Dog. So grab them. That's it, dude. I got a shawarma with my name on it, and I want out of here.
Sure. That's going to wrap it for the Tuesday edition of Wager Talk Today. I want to thank Carmine Bianco and Ralph Michaels for joining us. I want to thank my co-host, Lawrence Presman, and, of course, Joe Ranieri behind the scenes. Most importantly, I want to thank all you guys out there in listener and viewer land. We really appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy day to hang out with us. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, enjoy the games and good luck.
With the WagerTalk one-day Power Pass, you receive every play from every betting consultant for one day at the ridiculously discounted price of just $1.99. What's better than one day of great games? Watching, following, and winning those games. Get your sportsbook edge with the entire WagerTalk team of handicappers with this one-day Power Pass, every WagerTalk expert in every game they release for just one day. Your WagerTalk one-day Power Pass is right here, and it's yours for just $1.99.